Hello and welcome to my full review of WWE Elimination Chamber Toronto, which just took place yesterday, last night in, would you believe, Toronto. I tuned in like a minute late to this, so I missed the rendition of America the Beautiful, so sad, or the Star Spangled Banner, or whatever song it was. I think it was, I don't know, I missed it. I think it was the national anthem. But I tuned in just in time to hear Pat McAfee moaning about the Canadian crowd booing the American national anthem. Now, I'm not going to go on too long of a tirade about this, but first of all, Pat McAfee sounded like a moron. Because if you don't understand why Canadians would boo the American national anthem now, especially, you're an idiot. Simple as. If you do understand, then that's a whole different conversation, and you're on the wrong side of history if you're still preaching that narrative, even though you understand. So, which one is it, Pat? And by the way, I've historically been a Pat McAfee fan on commentary. I've enjoyed his commentary, but not a great look, Pat. Now, here's my question. Forget all the political stuff that's going on at the moment with regard to Trump claiming to want to invade Canada and all that stuff, and Canadians have an extra reason to boo the American national anthem. Why are you playing the American national anthem at a show abroad anyway? Who are you doing that for? Like, I find it a bit dumb doing it in your own country at the start of certain shows, but doing it when you're abroad is really dumb, because it's a show in Canada by a company called World Wrestling Entertainment. Not American Wrestling Entertainment, World. So when you're in America, I sort of get it. When you're not in America, there's no reason at all. And when you're in Canada, while your president is claiming to want to invade Canada, that's just intentionally tone deaf at that point. So don't like that. Have never really liked the singing of some American song or other at the start of some shows. I've never really got the point of it, but even less so currently. And to the person who commented on my thread about it, saying, it's called loving your country no matter what's happening politically. If you love your country currently as an American, you don't love your country. You're in a cult. Sorry. Anyway, rant over. Hopefully they've all left their angry comments and left now at this point, and we can get on with talking about some wrestling. And you know damn well who they is, if you're still watching. So, the first match was the Women's Elimination Chamber. They came out, just because I made a note of it, so I thought I'd discuss it, in the order Alexa Bliss, Cora Jade. Actually, you know what? I didn't make great notes on this. I think it was Alexa Bliss, Cora Jade, Bianca Belair, Bayley, Liv Morgan, Naomi. The important thing is Liv Morgan and Naomi were the two starting the match, and the other four were in the pods. And just as they were getting ready to shut the door and start the match with Liv Morgan and Naomi, which, by the way, they rang the bell before they shut the door, which sus, but honestly, I'm not going to nitpick at this and complain at this, because this was fantastic. Jade Cargill returned, came in. I don't think this was a particularly difficult thing to predict. I think a lot of people were speculating this would be the answer anyway. I saw it coming a mile off that she was going to go for Naomi, not Liv. But the fact that I saw it coming a mile off did not make it any less fun. It was great. She beelined for Naomi and beat the hell out of her, and it was great. I hope these two women get a one-on-one singles match at WrestleMania out of this feud. They deserve it. Is it going to be their best match on the card? No. Is it going to be fun and really help get Jade over and a good storyline building up to it? Should be, yeah. So I hope they get a singles match. Look, you don't need to give them too long. Naomi's not the GOAT. She's perfectly serviceable as a wrestler, but she's not the GOAT. And Jade Cargill isn't, some long 25-minute match machine. But you give those two a good 10, 12 minutes just to go out there and tell a story and really put Jade over as a beast. It'll be great. The fans will be into it. So do it at WrestleMania, WWE. Don't chicken out and have the payoff on a random SmackDown. Like, we don't want that. Anyway, that moment was awesome, and Naomi actually got, eliminated by it. She was deemed unable to continue and eliminated. Bianca Belair selling it from her pod was great as well. I had a bit of a discussion with some fellow fans in a Discord server about this, and they were of the opinion, and until last night I was also of this opinion, that Bianca was in on it as well. Because it makes sense that Bianca was jealous of Jade. Bianca's been showing heelish tendencies as well as Naomi recently, etc, etc, etc. But the way they had Bianca sell this attack, it was like a combination of being obviously distraught, but also surprised, shocked, confused. It didn't feel like she understood why Jade was doing it. And like, I'm not talking now about Bianca Belair, what's her name? Bianca Crawford? I think I googled it last night and I already can't remember. I'm not talking about her acting ability. I'm talking about the characters acting. I don't understand, if Bianca Belair knew what was going on, why her reaction was the way it was. I understand her reacting strongly, because she's friends with Naomi, and her wanting to get out of the pod. But she wasn't really reacting like someone who understood what was happening and just wanted to put a stop to it. She looked confused. I'm interested to see how they play it out. I can definitely see Bianca turning heel. I haven't watched it yet, but apparently in the post-show press conference, she was still giving off heelish vibes. So I'm interested to see how they develop it, and I think I could be wrong, but I don't think I should be. The way that she acted implies specifically that she was innocent in this, to me. Just looking at how she reacted last night in a vacuum, definitely. Anyway, so the match started with just Liv legal. Bianca Belair came out next, was obviously distracted by wanting to check on Naomi. Liv took advantage and actually mostly dominated the exchange when it was just them two. Next out was Roxanne Perez. By the way, the crowd cheered Liv for blindsiding Bianca Belair as well, which was funny. Because I think the crowd were picking up what most people are putting down. Like, I know I'm in the minority for thinking Bianca's not involved at this stage. And I know I'm probably wrong as well. I just think it makes more sense for it not to be based on last night's reaction. But yeah, the crowd cheered for Liv. Then Roxanne Perez came in, Bayley came in, and then Alexa Bliss came in. That was the order of sort of entry into the match. Then order of elimination. Bayley was eliminated by Liv Morgan. Before the next elimination, there was a vicious hair whip. Bianca Belair whipped Liv with her hair. She doesn't do that spot much anymore. But my God, the crack of that whip. Whoa, no! Whew! I hope Liv Morgan is into that kind of stuff, because that's the only way that wasn't a horrific experience for her. So I hope that getting whipped is a kink for Liv Morgan, because otherwise that was horrendous. It was so loud. Oh my God. And they did it like on top of the pod, and how Liv managed to hold on to the chain link and safely drop off instead of just crumpling into a heap and falling from a height after that. I think my entire body would have just gone and just let go of everything and fallen really awkwardly if Bianca had done that to me. So kudos to Liv Morgan. Like, fair enough. Alexa Bliss eliminated Roxanne Perez with a Twisted Bliss next. Liv Morgan rolled up Alexa Bliss after Bliss hit Bianca Belair with the Abigail DDT to eliminate Bliss. And then it was quite a cool counter for the finish. Liv went for the Oblivion, and Bianca caught her and like shifted her up onto her shoulders and hit KOD for the win. Which I predicted Liv to win. And I'm really intrigued how they're going to go about this, because there's a little bit of time now to WrestleMania. So there's time to build a story. But one, I'd be quite surprised if the match at WrestleMania is Bianca and Rhea one-on-one. Purely because it feels like they're kind of just springing that up on us, and it's a real sort of dream match. So I feel like it would have been hinted at and built more than it has been, a lot more. My theory was Liv was going to win, and it was going to be a triple threat with Rhea, Io, and Liv at Mania. I think that triple threat could still happen with Bianca in Liv's spot, but it's more difficult to get to, in my opinion. Although if Bianca's going to be turning heel, it's easier to get to. So, you know, so that could work. But it'd have to be quick, because the match for the Women's World Title is on Monday, is tomorrow on Raw. So, yeah. Anyway, so I'm a little confused as to where they're going with this, because it seems weird to have Bianca win this rather than be involved in the Jade Naomi match at Mania, which is why I have hope that Jade and Naomi are going to have a one-on-one match now, and Bianca's going to be like, they're building to like this dream match, this Rhea Ripley Bianca Belair like massive match, and Bianca's story at the moment is basically, I'm really distracted by what's going on with my two friends over here, and like, I don't see that as the most effective way to build Rhea versus Bianca. Which is why I think they might be saving that for a later date, and we're going to get a triple threat. Someone proposed a 4-way with Naomi and Jade in it. I would rather it be 2 separate matches, honestly. I'd much rather that. I don't really see putting that triple threat in the Women's World Title match as a good thing. I think this is a really good opportunity for WWE to tell one of their rare women have a storyline without a title being involved storylines, and I think they should do that. I don't think they should inject them into the world title picture, Naomi and Jade, personally. We'll see how it plays out. They might do that, and it might turn out great, but that's my opinion at this moment in time. Then we had the moment at the end where Bianca was celebrating, which, by the way, Bianca was celebrating instead of going checking on Naomi, which was weird considering how distraught she was at the start. It would have been great if she'd have won and then been like, right, get me out of here, and just gone to the back. I know they wanted to do their moment with Rhea coming out and then Io coming out, and it was a cool moment, and we got our cool visuals, we got our cool little camera shot that everyone can use as a YouTube thumbnail, but yeah, it would have been better storytelling for Bianca to just get out of town and go check on, either go and try and fight Jade or go and check on Naomi. Like, why was she hanging around celebrating? I know it's a big win and stuff, but she was like screaming. What's the expression? Crying and screaming and crying or whatever. She was doing that, like, quite literally in her pod, and then by the end of the match she was like, oh, well, I've got a world title shot now, who cares? So maybe she is going heel, because that's quite heelish. Anyway, next match was Candice LeRae and Nia Jax against Trish Stratus and Tiffany Stratton. This seemed like a fairly standard tag match. I'm going to be honest, I spent most of it the first time through watching live theory crafting online about Jade, Bianca and Naomi. So I wasn't paying super close attention to the match because it just didn't captivate me. I tried watching it back after the show finished, and again, it didn't captivate me. It looked to me, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, it looked to me like a fairly standard but reasonably well executed tag team match. That's the perception I got from the... Because I was kind of, you know, screen phone, and ADHD does that sometimes, and I just couldn't zone in on this match like I could the rest of the show. So my bad if I missed an absolute banger. Let me know, and I'll definitely give it another attempt to go back and watch, like actually fully commit to watching. But I tried 3 times, so I'm just gonna say it was kind of fine, because that's what happens when the match is fine. If it's outstandingly bad, it'll capture my attention, and if it's amazing, it'll capture my attention. But if it's just fine, I tend to drift a bit, so that's where I stand on that one. Tiffany pinned Nia with the prettiest moonsault ever after Trish hit Nia with like a top rope Stratusfaction. I'm surprised that they pinned Nia in this one, but because I predicted them to pin Candice, obviously, which, by the way, I still predicted the correct match result, so 1 out of 2. Woo! I'm on the board. But I thought they'd pin Candice, but I actually prefer that they pin Nia because it kind of draws a much more solid line under the Tiffy Nia thing. Nia hasn't really got a leg to stand on now to keep going after Tiffy. We can fully focus on Tiffany versus Charlotte, which I like. So I think that was a good decision, even though I predicted it wrong. I like that. Up next, we had The Rock ass-kissing video about how great The Rock is as a movie star and as a boss and as a human being and, you know, all that nonsense. I'm curious, there was a clip about him congratulating Ivy Nile after she was on American Ninja Warrior or Gladiators or some show. I'm curious to watch that because I imagine Ivy Nile would absolutely beast shows like that. So yeah, if anyone knows what show that was, let me know. I'd love to hunt it down and give it a watch. They did convert the video package seamlessly into some kayfabe stuff, which I thought was really fun. Like, a lot of it was, like, talking about real-life achievements of, like, his movies, and like stuff he does as like as Dwayne Johnson. But then it was suddenly a video package about the final boss, about The Rock, and then they were still integrating like real life stuff in. It was a very good blurring the line behind how much of this character were you supposed to really buy into as just being him. Like it was really well done, in my opinion. They announced the attendance, 38,493, if you care. Up next was the unsanctioned match between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Now, let me just duplicate a rant I put on Threads real quick for you, because I think I talked about this a bit in my prediction show, but I think I worded this pretty well when I posted it on Threads, so I'm going to say it here. I put, honestly, the unsanctioned thing is a bit cheesy. They're using their WWE names on a WWE PLE in a WWE ring with a WWE referee, WWE commentators, and ring announcer, their WWE music and lighting. What exactly are we supposed to believe isn't sanctioned about this? Like, I understand it's a fun way to build it as real person, like we're not sanctioning this match. But you are sanctioning this match by putting it on your broadcast. And by having the commentators talk over it, having one of your referees in there. By the way, what prompted that rant was the referee being in a black shirt instead of a referee shirt. It's like, come on. It's just dumb. It's just dumb. Like, the match itself was brilliant. It was brutal. It was beautiful. It was everything I expected it was going to be. Like, no notes on the match. Like, genuinely, I have no notes on the match except the words brilliant, brutal, and beautiful. Like, I have no notes. Like, I just watched the match. I'm not going to try and play-by-play the match. Just go and watch it. It was great. But, yeah, the concept itself of, like, an unsanctioned match is really just cheesy as hell to me. Anyway, Owens eventually pinned Zayn. It felt like quite a long match. It feels like they got given quite a bit of time. I didn't look up the timing or anything, but it seemed like quite a long match. After he'd put a chair around Zayn's neck and slammed him into a couple of ring posts and then apron powerbombed him a couple of times. Yeah, he really like beat him down for the finish. It was a really impactful finish, actually. The fact that he apron powerbombed him and then just sort of rolled him in the ring and was able to pin him. It was really, you don't see finishes like that in matches like this that often anymore. So it was a real good one. I predicted Owens to win. I predicted Owens to win a bit more dodgily, like maybe like a roll-up or something, a really unsatisfying finish, because I actually said in the predictions video, I don't know what they're going to do at WrestleMania except have a rematch, like, and then as I was rendering that video ready to upload it, and I couldn't be bothered to like interrupt that because I was running a bit behind on like upload schedule anyway. But I had this thought of like, oh yeah, Randy Orton. Obviously, that's what Kevin Owens is doing. So obviously Kevin Owens is... Well, I was like, either Kevin Owens is winning and putting Sammy out for a bit, or Orton's going to come back and cost Owens the match to transition the feud. So it actually made me a little less sure on my prediction, actually, of Owens winning. But I stuck with it. But yeah, I realised in the predictions video, I said, what else are they going to do? Obviously, Owens was always going to fight Orton at Mania. Like, I thought of it when I was rendering the video, but, you know, you didn't see that. But it's fine. So, yeah, after the match, by the way, 2 out of 3, did I mention that on predictions? Go me. Owens was pulling up the mats at ringside, obviously implying he was going to, like, probably pile drive Zayn onto the concrete and, like put him out for good. And then... I called it early on Threads. I think everyone called it. A lot of the surprises on this show weren't that surprising, but they were still really good. It's funny how you don't have to actually shock and awe your fans. I've just realised I've got 2 microphones on screen. This isn't the one I'm using. This is the one you can hear me through. Look, I'll just... there you go. I just glanced at the screen and was like, I look like I'm at a press conference. Maybe that's a good look. I don't know. Maybe I should line up a load of microphones here. Anyway, ADHD. Whoa. Yeah, the surprises on a wrestling show don't always have to be like a shock, I can't believe that moment for them to be really impactful. And I think this is another example of it, where Randy Orton coming back wasn't a massive surprise. I called it out on Threads like minutes before it happened. And then, bam, it happened. And it was great. Yeah, you can check the timestamp on Threads when I posted it. And you can follow me on Threads at the link in the description below, by the way. That's where I mostly talk about WWE stuff. If you want to talk about AEW stuff, I mostly use Blue Sky for that, just because the environments on the 2 different social medias tend to be a bit more friendly to each one. So why Why swim against the current? You know, like I just want to enjoy wrestling with people that enjoy the same wrestling. You know, so yeah. Anyway, Orton hit an RKO pretty quickly into the brawl. The brawl felt really inauthentic. I will say this, it felt really inauthentic after what Zayn and Owens had been doing to each other. For Orton to throw some of the workiest, work-faced punches ever and then an RKO felt really underwhelming. But then he lined Owens up for the punt. And I thought with how they've been pushing boundaries with like banned moves, like Owens getting to do pile drivers and stuff, that they might actually do the punt. I think maybe Owens gets some time off after Mania and they finish like their Mania segment with a punt. Whether Owens wins or loses, I could see him getting punted at the end of it. I think they're going to break out the punt for this one for sure. But they didn't want to do it because they probably want to put him out for longer than they'd need him to be back, longer than the time he'd be out before they need him back to build to Mania kind of thing. So yeah, security interrupted. There was a great line on commentary. I think it was Wade Barrett. Yeah, it was. Saying, now security want to do their job. Yeah. Security just did not get in Owens' way of like trying to end Sami Zayn's career, but then get in the way of Randy Orton trying to kick him. You know, 4 security guards, 8 RKOs. It was a good time. It's good to see Orton back. He's looking swole again. Like even every time Randy Orton's out for a bit and comes back, he looks like he ate Randy Orton, but the old Randy Orton was made out of pure protein. Like, and he just always looks massive when he comes back. Like, kudos to the guy for being in that shape. Like, incredible stuff. Anyway, next, the men's chamber match. Logan Paul, Damian Priest, CM Punk, John Cena. By the way, I wrote John Cena's name in the title, the order of when they came out. As soon as Punk's music hit, I typed in versus Punk versus Cena. I knew Cena wasn't starting this match. Everyone knew Cena was not starting this match, right? Versus McIntyre and Rollins. So they started off with Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins, which was fun. Good decision, in my opinion. McIntyre dominated that early match for the most part against Rollins. And Punk was thoroughly enjoying it in his chamber. They were doing a lot of the work in front of... not chamber, pod. In front of Punk's pod. And, yeah, that was fun. Damian Priest came in 3rd. Logan Paul came in 4th. Cena came in 5th. I really thought he was going to be last unless he was 5th because Logan Paul was 6th. But no, he came in 5th before Punk. Hit AAs on everyone and didn't go for any pins. How long have you been doing this, John? Why aren't you pinning people after your finisher? Like, made no sense. Annoying. But, you know, whatever. I'll allow it. It's fine. It was fun. Eventually, Drew came back into it and hit Cena with a Claymore, but then Damian Priest rolled up Drew McIntyre and eliminated him. So, yeah, Priest and McIntyre is definitely happening at Mania. And Drew's character is great because he keeps costing himself by being obsessed with things, whether it's being too obsessed with Punk, whether it's being too obsessed with part-timers like Cena, being too obsessed with Roman Reigns. He's always just like hyper-fixating on the thing he's mad at, and it keeps costing him. And I'm hoping it turns into something where he learns his lesson and ends up winning a title, hopefully like this year, like a world-level title. We'll see how it goes, but I hope it's leading somewhere, because it should be. It's really good storytelling. After his elimination, he hit Priest with another Claymore, and then Logan Paul got onto Punk's pod, who, by the way, Punk's still not in the match at this point. This all happened between Cena coming in and Punk coming in. Logan Paul got up on top and hit a big frog splash off Punk's pod onto Priest and then pinned him and eliminated him. Then it was time for Punk to come out, and he got a great line in when he was trying to come out to fight Logan Paul. And I'll be honest, I think he said it best, so Punk. Thank you, Punk. Yeah, they got down to, Punk beat down Logan Paul. They got down to a Punk Cena stare down, but Rollins interrupted because he's the one currently fixated with Punk, and he even got in Cena's face and was like, stay out of this, like, yes, you're in the match, but he's mine, kind of thing. And Cena didn't appreciate that, so they ended up fighting. They did the yay boo punches with Rollins getting booed and Cena getting yayed, which is fantastic. Like, so good. And then Logan Paul interrupted it with a double buckshot lariat, which got unanimously booed. Punk A little bit later, this wasn't like immediately, didn't turn around into it, but a little bit later, Punk slapped Logan Paul and then hit the GTS and pinned him to eliminate him, which was universally cheered. Then we had Cena and Punk go at it. They Cena offered a handshake. No, wait. Punk offered a handshake, I think. Cena hugged him, or vice versa. I forgot who did the handshake and who did the hug. But then they immediately broke the hug and just started punching each other. And then they broke down into yay boo punches. And the crowd yayed on Cena and booed on Punk as well. Wild. That, imagine going back in time, even just 10 years, and being like, okay, so, let me tell you, CM Punk's back. They'd be like, no way. Also, Cena in one show in Toronto got into yay boo punches with Seth Rollins and CM Punk, who are both babyfaces, and Cena got the yays and both Rollins and Punk got the boos. The fan would be like, no, you're just lying. This is proof that you're not a time traveler. It's a ridiculous concept. It's great though. It's great. Anyway, where was I on my notes? Oh yeah, I put Bizarro World indeed. Honestly, I know Toronto gets stick for being Bizarro World, and sometimes they deserve it for just going against the grain for kind of the sake of going against the grain. It feels like sometimes. Sometimes it feels really justified. Don't get me wrong, but sometimes it feels like they've just done it just to be unpredictable, which kind of makes them predictable in a way. But I don't actually think this was Bizarro World stuff. I put it down because it's a fun little reference back to how Toronto's referred to as a wrestling city. But yeah, Cena, everyone's really happy to see Cena on his retirement tour, right? So yeah, I don't think this is that. The fact that it wasn't just yay punches is a bit Bizarro World, that Rollins and Punk got boos, but they were just yay boo boos. They weren't actually boos. Anyway, so Rollins put John Cena through the side of the pod and then finally got his opportunity to turn his attention to Punk, which went well for him because when Cena got back involved, Punk hit Rollins with, well, first of all, I just want to point out, Punk in this match kicked out of an AA and a curb stomp, which not many people have probably done that in one match, so pretty impressive. But yeah, the Rollins' obsession with Punk backfired when Punk hit him with a GTS, and then Cena hit him with an AA, and he got pinned and eliminated. So, again, same sort. Rollins and Drew have these parallels, but at the moment, Rollins is still a face and Drew's still a heel. But I'm I wonder if Rollins is turning really slowly because he's becoming more and more like Drew McIntyre over time. I think that might be what they're going for. It certainly seems it anyway, doesn't it? Yeah, so we're left with just Cena and Punk, which is great fun. They shake hands, and then Punk pulls Cena in for a go to sleep, gets a 2. Shortly after, Cena hits an attitude adjustment, gets a 2. Was that another AA kick out, or did I just put my notes in a funny order? I don't know. Can't remember. Anyway, then, because Punk kicked out and was crawling to the ropes, then Seth Rollins is still in the chamber getting escorted out, and he hits Punk with a stomp, and then Cena locks in the STF and Punk passes out and Cena wins. Lol. And I predicted Cena to win, so 3 out of 4. Woo! I will say, I think this guy has already been eliminated, but gets revenge on someone and they get eliminated trope has been done to death in Elimination Chamber. But this Rollins stomping Punk here was one of the better examples of it that I can remember at all, to be honest, because of how much sense it made in storyline. And also because of just how it was executed, I thought it was really good. So yeah, as much as it's a done to death trope, and that takes away some of the impact of it, on its own, if you've never seen an Elimination Chamber before and you didn't know that's a trope that gets done all the time, I think that's a really good standalone one, personally. Then Cody Rhodes comes out, congratulates Cena. The Rock comes out with Travis Scott, who apparently is now heel. Wasn't he just with Jey Uso 3 weeks ago? But apparently he's now heel and with The Rock. I don't know. And I put here, Cena stays in ring. Called it. At the moment where Cena didn't leave for that segment, I was like, yeah, I got this right. And I even put it on Threads. Yeah, we know what's happening here. And this was great. When I mentioned before that Punk said it better than I ever could, Cody Rhodes' answer to The Rock was this.
Hey, Rock, go fuck yourself.
Now, maybe in the replays and the YouTube upload and what have you, that'll be censored. It wasn't on the live broadcast, and I know a PG show gets one F-bomb, but they don't tend to use that a lot. Like, so they used it for impact and it worked. It was a great moment. It got such a pop. But of course, it popped Cena. Cena shook Cody's hand, pulled him in for a hug. The Rock does the weirdest throat slit ever. He sort of started like a throat slit, and then he started going like, and then he did like a gold dust finish. I don't know what that was. It's like he forgot how to do a throat slit halfway through. He was like, hey, and he's like, what do I go to the face? Am I gold dust? Like, I don't know what it was, but whatever it was clear. Cena had these like deadpan face on, which by the way, Cena was so cheesy when communicating with Cody as a babyface of, you know, you, me, fans, WrestleMania. He was doing all that, really overhamming it up, which I don't know if that was because he was about to turn heel and it was like intentionally overhammed, but to be honest, Cena does that a lot. Really like overhams the moment, so maybe it was just Cena being Cena, but when he did like the face drop, honestly, so far what I've seen, heel Cena has been so cheesy. Oh, by the way, he then kicks Cody in the dick, and then there's a massive beatdown using a watch, like a Rolex, as brass knuckles. Then there's like, it hits him with a microphone, they hit him with his title, they hit him with the Rock's special Dusty Rhodes weightlifting belt. Yeah, there's a big beatdown. Travis Scott just legit punched Cody in the face at one point. Like, didn't look like a working punch at all, just punched him. I don't know why Travis Scott was there. I feel like when we look back on, you know, when there's a documentary, when there's a YouTube channel doing like top 10 heel turns in WWE history, and this is like in the top few, all of them will just be like, still not sure why Travis Scott was there though. Like that'll be like the little caveat that always gets associated with this amazing heel turn. So yeah, it was dumb. Just WWE flexing for no reason that they can get to Travis Scott. Like, who cares? But yeah, the segment itself was great, and I'm counting that as a prediction. I predicted that Cena was going to be the corporate champ, the Rock's champion, right? The guy that sides with the Rock. I called that out in my predictions video. Called it out on Threads before it happened. I'm claiming that. Even though there was only 4 matches, I got 4 out of 5 on this show predictions. I'm calling that, and it was so hyped up as a segment. I actually did predict it, and I predicted it correctly, so I'm taking it. I predicted Cody saying no, and I predicted it being Cena. I did have the thought after I uploaded the video. I'll be real with you. I also had a thought of something else that'd be quite fun. Would be if Cena won the Chamber, and then Punk sold out to The Rock to get added in as a triple threat to get his Mania main event. That would have been a fun direction. I don't think it's as fun a direction as this. I think this is tremendous. The Rock and John Cena as a 2-man power trip has such potential. The only thing that's going to derail it, I imagine they'll be around a fair bit on the road to WrestleMania. It'll be derailed massively if after WrestleMania, one or both of them just vanish. Which is kind of what I expect to happen. Like, this feels way bigger than a 7-week storyline. This feels like it's going to take up most of Cena's final year. And yet, it might kind of fizzle out because of schedules and stuff, which I really hope it doesn't. I really hope both guys have seen the potential of this story and gone, my schedule's clear. I can be at most TVs for 6 months. Yeah, you know, because there's so much potential for those two to be brutal and disgusting and horrible, but also to be really funny and entertaining as heels as well. And like, I want to see this story maximized for its potential. People have been clamoring for a John Cena heel turn for literally decades. Like, more than a whole decade, so I'm calling it decades plural. Oh, my hood fell down, and you can see the dirty marks that my headphones leave on my mask. So let's put that back up. You can see my dirty ears. But yeah, what was I saying? ADHD, wow. Yeah, I hope this is allowed to reach its full potential. And by the way, one problem I had with this segment was great. It was so impactful. Cody getting to drop an F-bomb, very fun, very impactful. The way the heel turn went down, because I was trying to figure out when I predicted Cena to turn, how do you do a Cena heel turn without it just being really cheesy, like he just pulls him in for an AA? And this is how you do it. You kick him in the penis. So yeah, it was really, I think, really well executed, except for Travis Scott being there. The problem I had with it was CM Punk's been telling Cody how much he's his friend, and he wouldn't stab him in the back, he'd stab him in the front. And CM Punk probably wouldn't appreciate John Cena doing this, especially not after they had a moment in the chamber and had a hug and what have you, to suddenly turn his back on all that and side with The Rock, who Punk famously has a problem with. Yeah, where was Punk? Where was Cody Rhodes' good friend Randy Orton, who we know is in the building because he just returned and beat up Kevin Owens? Like, where's he? Like, I know why they've not done that, because the segment's way more impactful if Cody doesn't get saved. I understand from a TV show perspective, but I'm talking within kayfabe. Why is Punk not getting involved? Why is Orton not getting involved? Hell, why is Seth Rollins not getting involved? Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes turned their hated rivalry into, like, a very, very strong mutual respect. That was their whole story going into last year's Mania, how it had come round into, like, no, I just really respect you now. And I know Rollins had a bit of a problem with Cody teaming up with Roman, but never to the same extent as, like, a Drew McIntyre. And I don't think he'd think that this was deserved. And Rollins still has a problem with The Rock anyway. I don't know, like... Punk is the most excusable in a weird way, because Punk just got stomped into the outside of the chamber and then choked out with an STF. So he's in, like, the worst condition, even though the segment went on long enough for him to recover, potentially. He's in the worst condition. The most likely save should have been Randy Orton, and that would have been a really cool moment to have face Orton and heel Cena stare down in 2025 would have been wild. And maybe they'll still do that at some point in the build to WrestleMania. It's just... this era of WWE is really good at making characters' motivations make sense and keeping continuity a lot better than in the Dark Ages. So I'm a bit disappointed that no one had the character continuity to do something with that. You know, like to even attempt to save and maybe get beaten down. Like, maybe not Orton in that situation, but maybe like a Seth Rollins, because he's been through a chamber match, so he's not in the best condition. So him coming out, running in to try and help Cody and getting beaten down by 3 guys wouldn't make him look weak. And I know he's going to be transitioning into the Punk story. So the practical reason why is because Orton's going to be dealing with Owens. Rollins is going to be feuding with Punk and probably Reigns. So they're not in this story. And I get that. I just feel like they were conspicuous by their absence in trying to save their friend Cody Rhodes. Anyway, I've rambled about this enough. I hope you guys have enjoyed this review. If you have, please leave a like. It's greatly appreciated. Please let me know what you thought of the show in the comment section down below. Let's have a discussion. And subscribe if you're new here. I do predictions and reviews of big shows, premium live events and pay-per-views. I also play wrestling video games. I do watch-alongs of historic shows on, like, anniversaries. I do loads of stuff over here. You'll probably have a good time if you like wrestling. So yeah, hit that subscribe button. But for now, all I have left to say is thank you very much for watching. As always, I've been EBEZA. You've been amazing, and I'll see you next time.